Phase 2, and we have our Selectboard candidates here. And Mr. Taylor, you won the card draw, so you're going to give your 1 minute opening statement.
The card draw.
You did. Yeah. You lost because you got to go first.
Is this on? I'm pretty nervous. Thank you to the sponsors of this event, League of Women Voters of New Hampshire, the Peterborough Plus Unit, and the Monadnock Ledger Transcript. But even more, heartfelt thank you to the support I have them from. It's an honor to be sitting here tonight with you all in a building my great-grandfather designed over 100 years ago. Lately, we've seen a major shift in how the town is moving forward with infrastructure improvements, and I've been a player in that conversation since January. I've shown that I can be effective at positive and efficient change. Imagine what I could do from a seat at the table instead of the audience. And I lost my place. There it is. I also feel it important to be the type of leader that lets people do the jobs they were hired or elected to do, while offering direction and being available to present effective and thoughtful solutions to problems they face. An effective leader sets the stage for people to do their jobs effectively and offers guidance when needed. School funding is the elephant in the room, and Peterborough has arguably the foremost expert in education sitting on our school board, and we should be doing everything we can to help rather than get in the way of that. My experience in this race has been largely the most fulfilling of my life outside of my family. And my mom and daughter are here, and I couldn't appreciate it more. I feel so strongly that if this town, state, and nation are going to move forward, it must be together, like Rich said. Remembering that building relationships fosters growth and divisive politics inhibits it. This is a moment for all of us to remember that Peterborough is an inclusive, welcoming, and wonderful place to live and visit. It's a moment for us to send a message that regular working people can get involved, make positive change and growth. And I certainly hope that message is sent by checking the box next to Bill Taylor on May 14th.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
I also want to thank the League, the Monadnock Ledger, and also Peterborough Plus for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon, this evening. I'm here. In fact, all of the candidates are here because we care about this town. And we all want to make this town a better place to live. And I also want to thank all of you, including my supporters, but everyone, for showing up. Because you too care for this town. And that's important to me and to the town. Thank you very much for showing up. When I was asked to consider running for the Select Board, I did what I always do. I did my homework. I conferred with over a dozen of the town officials and staff. I consulted with my neighbors and friends. I listened to you at the recycling center. And I also even went door to door. And it became clear to me, and not as any great surprise, that the town is facing a number of complex issues. And that requires doing what I do well: problem solving, working with people, building consensus, getting the job done. 34 years ago, Jean and I chose to be here. We raised a family. We created good-paying jobs and helped build the community. I pledge to continue to serve in that capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a little break from the zoning amendment and ask you some other questions, okay? What is your vision for the town? How will the town be different if you get elected and have your way? Mr. That sounds awful. I just realized how bad that sounds. I'm not the question did not intend it that way. But how would the town be different if it were to fulfill your vision? Mr. Kennedy, you first, please.
That's interesting. The first thing I want to say about the select board is that they don't run the town per se. The voters run the town. The select board, advises, okay? We also have a guiding document. It's called the planning document, master plan. How many people have read that? Good.
Look at this.
Good. I share the vision of the master plan. I believe that Peterborough is the cultural center of the Monadnock region, as well as the economic center of the Monadnock region. And my vision is to fulfill that vision and to carry it forward.
Mr. Taylor, your vision for Peterborough.
My vision for Peterborough is a town where everybody feels like they have a voice and everybody feels as though they can go to these meetings and be effective. My vision for the town is like it's always been. It's a fabulous place to be born, to be raised, to then have kids and raise them and have them be able to come back to town. That's the vision that I've had. That's why I'm doing this. I want people to feel like they got somebody sitting at the board that's ready to talk to them and ready to help them.
Okay. So how about some specific steps that Peterborough could take to promote economic vitality? And I'm not sure how much of that the select board has control over. But let's think in big terms and see if you've got some specifics. Mr. Taylor?
First of all, the economic vitality of the town right now is hinging on education funding. We're in a real tough spot. We have some excellent people working on our team. Dick Dunning is an award-winning middle school teacher. He's been involved in the community heavily, not just on the school level, but he knows what he's talking about, and we need to give him our support. Another thing that we really need to do is pay real close attention to moving forward with infrastructure improvements. And the town has adopted recently, over the last few months, opened their minds and started talking about different plans forward instead of just being goal focused and trying to get right through to the end standpoint. And we need to be able to measure those improvements with what happens with their spaces in the future, with effectively and efficiently trying to rebuild, for instance, a DPW garage or improve it, and then being able to fit a fire department up next to it. One of the visions of the master plan is also to have a facility that includes all of those buildings, and the first step to doing that would be to move another one up there. Another thing that I think is really important at this time is that the select board begin to collaborate with other towns. We have a wave of new people being elected to boards across the region, and many of them I know, many of them I work with, and I think that a unified voice, instead of having these imaginary bound borders between us that has been divisive, and I can't put my finger on exactly why, but you know, it's hard. There's egos arise when you're talking about what is that, red sign? So we need to collaborate with other towns to start saving some money.
I'm sorry, it is unnerving when you hit your time limit here.
It was a little intimidating.
We're gonna try to quiet it at this point, thank you. Back to Mr. Kennedy with the same question. What steps do you think Peterborough can take to promote economic vitality? And what of those might be within the purview of the select board?
Well, good, very good question. The first thing we need to understand is that the community that we have created here attracts people to live here. And so having an attractive community to start with is a good step in the right direction of creating economic vitality. The second piece, though, is what can the select board do? Well, the select board, of course, can work with all the various agencies within the government and within the state to help promote workforce availability. And I would do that through the Economic Development Authority, the EDA. There are a number of things that they're working on. For instance, in their strategic plan, they are working on vacancy, so that would lower the vacancy rate of commercial and industrial properties. That would help our property taxes, because the lower the vacancy rate, the higher the valuation of the property. Secondly, entrepreneurship, to create and grow new businesses. One of the areas that we're looking to extend is broadband, because we have a lot of people moving into town who actually are working out of their homes, and they need that kind of access to carry on their businesses. Again, the workforce, attract and train the skilled and talented workforce is one. Tourism. Tourism is a big piece to increase tourism revenue. And finally, the aesthetic. We, of course, want to retain the Monadnock aesthetic.
Thank you. And you touched on a couple of items that were in some of the other questions, so this may not sound terribly coordinated, but they hit all these things. So obviously taxation is a hot button issue. Gee, my town too. Who knew? And we mentioned, Mr. Taylor, you mentioned particularly education funding, the amount that's spended, and the smaller amount coming from the state is an issue for you. What are some possible solutions to the taxation issue? And Mr. Kennedy, you're going to go first.
Oh, okay. Taxes. I was surprised that was going to come up. I'm totally unprepared for this. No, actually, first of all, I want to point out that I'm extremely loath to point any fingers or throw any stones at any people, these good people. They spend so much time working on these budgets and so on and so forth. I would suggest, anyone would suggest, that the volunteer chair of our budget department is a skinflint, or I'm sorry, a spendthrift. They don't know rolling pack, that's for sure. In any case, what can we do for the town? Well, there's a number of different reasons why our taxes are going up, okay? One of the primary reasons is state has been downshifting their costs onto our backs. So they no longer contribute to the pension funds, our public pension funds. They're cutting back on the amount that they're giving to our schools, okay? And so we need to apply as much pressure as we can on the at the state level to stop that downshifting, to reverse the cuts in our revenue. And I have someone who's working for me in Concord right at this moment on that very problem. Okay? But there are a number of other reasons why our taxes have been going up. The one area that, and since I have limited time, the one area I want to bring up is what happened to when we reevaluated the town. You know? One of the areas that we haven't been talking about, many of the people, the reason why your taxes went up is because your home got reevaluated. Where did that reevaluation come from? I understand that some of the more expensive homes in the area aren't selling. And so their valuations are going down, pressing more against us. So it's one area we should talk about.
And Mr. Taylor, you brought up the school funding, but what else do you see as issues with taxation in town?
What is it? I just have 2 minutes?
I know, we're not going to have to solve all the world's problems.
I think it's important. Yeah, I think it's important where we go from here, not how we got here. I mean, of course, everybody has to know their history in order not to repeat it. I can tell you that I know a little something about the valuations because I'm a real estate agent. And just for your information, Bill, a lot of the very expensive homes and farms have gone under contract in the last month. So I don't know if that's going to change our valuations for the rest of us going forward. My family saw around a 34% increase, and our number was changed, was reevaluated about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And then when this new revaluation came out, it jumped by 34%, so the tax. So keeping an eye on that going forward, what do? You make sure that you're not overspending going forward, and you have to do everything you can to try and scale it back. And I feel that the number one thing that the town should be able to do at this point, or be trying to do, is to offset the increased cost coming from the downshifted from the state. And we need to do that by collaborating with our other towns and going forward with some power to actually put some, like Bill says, put some pressure up on the state level. And with a group of select boards instead of just one, we'd have a lot stronger voice, especially since all of us are in the same school district. So, it's the flag. It's pretty intimidating. All right, I'll take it, right? Next.
Croc TV.